Hello and welcome to the This Works For Me Virtual Summit. I'm your host, Faith Watson. I am the director of the Faculty Development Center at Murray State University. If you are interested in finding out how to create a successful mentoring program, well, you are in the right place because our guest today, Professor Susan Altman, will be providing us with some practical strategies to do so. Professor Altman, welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Firm Faith. I'm really excited to talk with you today.
Thank you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Certainly. So I'm Professor Susan Altman. I teach in the art department. I'm a professor in the art department, the visual performing and media arts department at Middlesex County College, which is in Edison, New Jersey. I wear many hats at the college. I'm also assistant chair of the department, as well as our director of our Center for the Enrichment of Learning and Teaching, which is actually a faculty position. So I wear many hats at the college.
I know you have a wealth of experience, and we are so privileged to have you today to just share a little bit of some of the things that you know about creating successful mentoring programs. Could you tell us what got you interested in creating successful mentoring programs?
So our mentoring program started really out of a need. It was our first group of faculty. We were hiring 14 new faculty. And we had never had a mentoring program, nor had we even had faculty orientation. So when I first came to the college, I showed up on the first day for convocation, and I looked around for people that maybe I knew, the people who hired me. And we decided that there was a real need to mentor new faculty. We were having a big group come in across the disciplines. We had some from the same discipline and others from a mix of disciplines, and we felt really the need to do this. So we saw a problem, we looked at the research, and we saw that realistically, faculty who are mentored do much better at their institution. And since we had such a big cohort, we decided we were going to go with this. So we set up a program, and we are now in our 6th year, and it's been really successful.
Wow, the 6th year. Could you tell us, how does the mentoring program work?
So when we get a cohort of new faculty, we invite them to be part of the mentoring program, and we send them an email from our center. We welcome them to the college. They've already been hired, and it is a voluntary program. So we're not forcing them to be in the mentoring program, but over the past 6 years, every single new faculty member has joined us. So we really have great success. So we invite them to the mentoring program. And what happens in the mentoring program is they get 2 mentors. One from their department, who's obviously the content expert, and we try and match them with someone who's teaching what they're teaching. So if you're teaching anatomy and physiology, we're trying to find someone in the sciences who teaches the same course. And then they're matched with a CELT mentor from our center that becomes their second sounding board. The CELT Center is not in their discipline, so they get a different viewpoint, is not a content expert, so they get a different perspective, but they join the mentoring program. And actually, we have 2 different components of our mentoring program. We have for full-time faculty, and then we have a 1 semester only mentoring program for we call them new to MCC adjuncts. We know they're not new to teaching, so we really respect their teaching experience, but we have a shorter program for them. So we actually have 2 programs, but the main program is the full-time faculty, which we mentor for 5 years until they get tenure.
Wow. So this program that you have for 5 years for the full-time faculty, this sounds that it could be a number of things could be involved in it. Could you explain a little bit more in terms of what happens within the 5 years?
Okay, so what happens is each group that comes in, when you get hired for that year, you're put into a cohort. So we had 3 new faculty members hired this year. They're the 2020 cohort. We have a 2019 cohort from last year that has maybe 6 or 8 people. And so each group becomes a cohort. They are matched with their 2 mentors, and the first year they meet once a month to discuss various things about teaching. We are a teaching institution. We're a 2-year school, and we really are focused on student success and good teaching. So much of our mentoring program is teaching and pedagogy related to really help our faculty on their way to being great teachers. The first year that they are at the college, they're not expected to do service. So many of the things that you might do at a faculty orientation, which we also have now, but it's mostly pedagogy based, such as opportunities for service and things like that, we cover in those monthly meetings. So we don't cram it all into that one orientation. So we sort of spread it out over the year. In January, we talk about opportunities for service and how they can give back to the college. So the first year they meet once a month. And we also offer them a lot of opportunities for feedback on their teaching. So we offer that we'll observe them. They're observed by their chairs every semester, but you can have your mentor observe you. Nothing's written, you know, everything we always say, what happens in cell stays in cell. Nothing's written down, but you can get feedback from an experienced professor as to prepare you for that observation by your faculty member, by your chair. So we do a lot to help support them in their first year of teaching. In the second year, they meet once a semester, and we continue that process. So we really help to guide them. We don't want to tell them what to do. It's very much about helping them to figure it out, but supporting them in the process.
I see.
We also will talk to them if they're having a problem, or, you know, the reason we have the CELT mentor is sometimes there's something you want to discuss that you don't feel comfortable talking about in your department. Maybe there's a personality, maybe there's something with your chair, so you get another perspective. Another thing that we find that's really exciting about the mentoring program is because we have so many different disciplines, you are getting perspectives from different disciplines. So someone might say, well, in the sciences, we've been doing this. And someone might say, but in art, we're doing this. And then you say, wow, I never thought about that. Maybe I can bring that to my classes. So there's a lot of cross-fertilization and connections that are made through the mentoring program. You know, we had someone from art history and philosophy come together and do a program together. They wouldn't necessarily have met if it wasn't for the mentoring program. So we find that it's really built a community and gets new faculty involved immediately in the campus. They have friends, they have somebody else that they can talk to, which is very exciting. And I think very satisfying for both the mentors and the mentees.
Yeah. This model sounds like a very interesting and even effective model. How did you come up with it?
So we came up with it originally, and it has evolved over the 6 years. As I said, you know, in the beginning, we said we have to meet twice a month. And faculty just couldn't do that. It was too much because many, they were not new to their content, but they were new to the college. So they might be teaching a course that they've never taught before and had all that prep. Our load are 5 courses a semester. That's a pretty heavy load if you have a lot of preps. So, you know, it was way really too much. So in the second year, we decided, based on their responses, you know, based on surveys of the faculty and the mentors, that it really was a little bit too much to meet twice a month. So we made it once a month. In the third year, it has evolved into combining all the cohorts together. So they learn from each other. So in your third year, you've already gotten acclimated to the college. You're comfortable with what you're teaching. And we spend a lot of time talking about how to stay fresh in what you're teaching, how to change up your pedagogy. You know, if you're teaching the same 5 courses already for 2 years, how do you make them exciting to your students and keep them fresh? So we really do a lot of pedagogical discussions with them and support them. We also talk about what they need to get tenure, how to prepare that tenure dossier, how to write. We, at our institution, every semester before you have tenure, you have to write what's called a 6-point evaluation, which is everything it talks about teaching, it talks about advising, it talks about your professional development. So we really give them some guidance for that in the beginning and what they need to do with that. And so we really support them and have a lot of discussions, and they make friends and they learn from each other. It's really, you know, that idea of a lifetime learner.
Yeah.
most of our centers, are about. I know your center has many, many programs that are very impressive. We really, since our center is run by faculty, we really want faculty to get involved. And many of these mentees in the program have given back to their colleagues. They will present, they will run a discussion, which is very exciting, because I think that before we had the program, they were not as involved in the college. But here, they become this cohort, and they have really become many of the leaders on committees. They have moved into leadership roles, which is exciting to see.
Yeah. So this program seems like it's a great program that you're doing. How do you get the mentors to become a part of this program? Like, do you give them compensation? How do you get them involved?
So in the beginning, when we first started and no one knew anything about the mentoring program, you got an email. I was invited to be a mentor for my 2 new colleagues in the department. I got an email saying, we're starting up this mentoring program, and would you mentor, these 2 new people? So I said, of course, because I really feel very strongly about mentoring. I was always lucky to have mentors. My colleagues, when I first came to the college, there was no organized mentoring program, but my colleagues in the department mentored me. I had a wonderful chair who mentored me. I had mentors from graduate school. No women, though, which is sorry to see. When I was an undergraduate, I had no women professors except for my art history professor, who was wonderful. And in graduate school, I had no women professors except for my art history professor. So I had mentors, but I really felt strongly that mentoring is important. So when I got that email, I said, oh, of course I'll mentor. And at the time, I didn't even realize it was going to be this 5-year commitment of meeting once a month or twice a month for 5 years.
Yeah, that makes me want to ask, like, how detailed was that letter? Did the letter just ask you if you wanted to become a mentor? And I know the program evolved, so yes, you would not know that it would be for 5 years, and I'm asking you this question because somebody might be, a faculty developer out there might be thinking to craft that letter. Like, what are some of the things you put in that letter?
Well, I think the first year, it said nothing about 5 years. Afterwards, once we got the program going, people realized that you are mentoring your colleague until tenure. But as the years go by, it's less of a commitment in the sense that now you've become that person's friend. So it doesn't feel onerous that I have to mentor this person. You just mentor them because you have built this relationship, and it really is about relationship building. So you ask about compensation. We don't compensate our mentors. We want them to give back to their colleagues. It's beneficial to both the mentor and the mentee. But we do get people who are interested, especially with our adjuncts. And I'm going to pull a book off my bookshelf. We don't mentor that. We don't give them compensation, but here's Jay Lang's book. We send them a book at the end of the year. We used to send them some sort of gift. So maybe we gave them a mug. And then when I became director of the center, I really thought about that and said, that's not really useful. And I know that our faculty who mentor the adjuncts are so happy to get a book in their mailbox at the end of the summer. We send them out over the summer. They come back in August, and there's this wonderful book on teaching. We've used a wide variety of teaching books over the years. The mentors for the full-time faculty are not compensated either. They get a book as well. But we do have a lot of social events. We have lunch. So at the beginning of each semester, we have a mentoring lunch for all the cohorts. So you might have just been hired in 2020, but now you're meeting someone from the 2015 cohort or the 2016 cohort. So we try and do those social events. Our center before, certainly we went remote, we'd have a lot of events and always have food. So it becomes a social event as well, but people really want to mentor. In fact, I just got an email from a faculty member who said, if anyone in my department's new, let me know. I want to mentor them. So we've built word of mouth over the years that people really want to be a mentor. But we don't pay them. We pay them in food and books.
Thank you. Are there any other benefits to the mentees or the mentors that perhaps wasn't mentioned?
So I think actually there are a lot of benefits.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I mean, we could look to the research,
Mm-hmm.
and the research shows that you have much better job satisfaction, you're acclimated to the university or college much quicker, you build relationships, but you also, it helps the students. Because now you have a faculty member who is new to the college, may not know the culture, may not know the students, but who are really supportive. And because we talk so much about teaching, we want everybody at our college to be a master teacher, that it really benefits our students. And we also go over things that are just logistical, like, okay, I have a student who has a learning disability. Where do I go for that? So some of those practical information that you would give at a faculty orientation, we give to our mentees, and that helps our students. So now a student comes to them with a problem, and sometimes we do sessions on various scenarios. Okay, so you have the student with a scenario, how are you solving it? And we break them up into small groups, and we talk about it, and people share. So you're getting not only support for your teaching, but support to help your students be better students. So I think that there are many benefits. I think it's beneficial for the mentor. They get to know their new faculty members, they make a friend in the department, and they also feel satisfaction that they're helping their colleagues. And for many of us, when we came to the college, we didn't have that. So the program has really been beneficial to both mentors and mentees and the institution, because now the institution has faculty who are really committed, engaged, they become leaders, they come to our events. They become actively involved in the college much quicker, I think, because of the mentoring program. So, I mean, there are a lot of, you could read the research on it, but just looking at what we've had without looking at research and without saying, this scholar says this, we see the benefits of it, which has really been great. And it's also fun. We get to know them, and we've done some fun things. So, and for the adjuncts as well, I think, they also become much more acclimated to the college, and they have somewhere to go, because for some of our adjuncts, we know that most colleges have many adjunct faculty. They teach at night, they don't see anyone. So by having a faculty member that they can reach out to and say, you're teaching the same thing I'm teaching, I'm having this question, can you help me with that, is really beneficial, because they are really isolated. Many of them, never see a full-time faculty member.
Faculty, they come in as a new faculty, they are mentored, and then they become leaders in the program.
Mm-hmm. They mentor in turn.
Right.
So we have people who are in their 4th or 5th year who are now mentoring first-year people and giving back to them. Yeah. And we have people in the mentoring program, even in the 2nd year, who say, oh, I'll mentor an adjunct. I know what it feels like to be new, and will really help them. So it really, people are really giving back, and they also present for us at our center, which is really wonderful, because that also helps them for faculty, for promotion, tenure and promotion. And so they're really excited to do that. And they often say to me, oh, can I present on whatever? So we really are building this, I guess, momentum of mentoring.
So overall, the response of the mentors and the mentee has been great overall.
Yes, it has been great. I mean, we've lost a few people who maybe said, wait, I can't do this for 5 years. We've had a few people who have said that, who maybe got involved with other things, or when we ask them to mentor, an adjunct may have a really busy semester that semester. Maybe they're running a major committee. Maybe they're running we don't have a faculty senate, but we have other, large committees. We have a college assembly. So maybe they're running that and they don't have time to mentor. But for the most part, no one ever says no. I mean, it's a rare occasion when someone will say, no, I don't want to mentor someone. So I think that's really exciting about it.
Yeah, I know. So,
And a lot of it's personal relationships too. You know, sometimes we've just got to not twist their arm, but we do talk to them, and they're excited to do it.
and you're doing all of this without compensating people, especially in, financially. But are there any costs associated with running such a program, though?
So we do have 3 official mentors who are part of our center who do get a course release to run the mentoring program. So there is that. They're compensated because they're overall planning. They're the ones who are reaching out to everybody. They're doing all the coordination of it. The costs, we really don't have any costs to it except for the books that we buy. And some years we do have to buy 40, 45 books, which does get a little pricey. We also provide food. We always have food. We have the mentoring lunch, but those are part of our self budget. We used to meet at lunchtime. Our programming used to be lunchtime, so we always provided lunch. Now they've changed that time to 2 in the afternoon, so now we just provide snacks. So really our main course are our faculty mentors who are part of the center. And so that comes, those people get a course release. But the department mentors don't get any compensation. But they're doing it because it benefits their department and it benefits them personally, and they build a personal relationship with their new colleagues. So I think there's this sense of satisfaction involved in it. The people who are part of our CELT Center are doing way more work in terms of it because they're coordinating the whole program.
I see, I see. So I'm trying to picture someone listening to you and they're thinking, okay, I want to send out this letter to some potential mentors. And I know that your program evolved. You really didn't know that it was going to go for so long. So that first letter that was sent out to you would literally look different today than the letter that you would send out to new mentors, potential mentors. How different would that letter look in terms of details? I'm really trying to help a viewer here who would like to even start out. And they want to start out by saying, okay, let me just send an email to some potential mentors. What are some things that they could potentially put in that letter to invite mentors?
So one of the things that was in that letter, which I think was very helpful, was they did cite some of the research. You know, not a long citation that talked about it all, but really gave the benefits. And I think that that's something that's really important, to talk about the benefits for both the mentor and the mentee, because that gets people excited about it. If I was going to give any bit of advice to someone who wanted to start a mentoring program at their institution, is really to have the support of the administration. And we are very, very lucky that we have the support of the administration. That they support our center, which has been in business. We're about 16 or 17 years along now. They've supported us from the beginning. They supported the mentoring program. Our very first year, we had lunch at the president's house as part of that beginning orientation. We obviously did not do that this year, but we always invite them to our lunches so they can meet the faculty in a more personal way. As part of our program, we have the administration come, usually in November. So we meet with them. So August, September, October, and then in November, the administration comes and again welcomes them for another time and answers their questions. So they are very supportive of that, and they get to see the administration, and the administration, more importantly, listens to what they have to say. So the administration will ask, you know, how's it going so far? What do you see? You know, what about the college do you like? What about your research are you doing? We're not a research institution, but the exciting thing about our college is many of us are doing research. So, you know, I have a studio practice as an artist. I exhibit my work. Many of my colleagues are presenting and doing research. So the administration has been really supportive. So anyone who is about to start a program, you want to get your provost or your vice president and your president on board to make sure that they're supporting it. And I think that's really important. Then you want to get your faculty members. As long as you get a couple, of course, it depends on your institution. Our first year, we had 14 new faculty members. That's been the largest cohort we've had so far. So, depending how many new faculty are coming in, you need to match them up with department mentors. I would recommend that your program has a few, maybe, people who get course releases. So that again requires the college to support you. So they can do all of the planning of the programming, the contact. I do a monthly newsletter for each cohort, usually with teaching tips and a subject, more importantly, a subject to discuss with your mentor. So some sort of topic. So you have some sort of conversational starter. So that comes out every month and is sent to each of the different cohorts. So you need to support someone in your center who can be that contact person and do that. I do that as part of my directorship. I also do a monthly newsletter for the center. But you want to have your administration support you. And then I think you build it slowly. You build it through word of mouth. You get people excited about it. You have events, we have an end of the year event. We have the lunches. In December, our event is usually a social event that, it's really a how to go for the first semester and a chance to talk, but also just to get to know each other and to do something social. So I think that you have to build it slowly, but I really I think it's been a great program. I'm so glad it's continuing. As I said, nobody has said no to us. All the faculty join in. Now, maybe they miss a few sessions, but they really like it. And they like being part of a group, of feeling immediately from the day one, that week that they come back, that we have 4 days at the beginning of the semester, that immediately they have lunch and they're going to lunch. No one else is going to lunch, just the mentoring groups. And they make friends. So I think that's been really, I would recommend that, to start slow and really build it. But I do recommend it for any institution because I think it's been a really successful program.
This sounds like such a great program, almost a fairy tale. I imagine that there are no challenges, right?
Well, listen, there are challenges, there's scheduling challenges. There's, there were the few people who said, I can't commit to 5 years. And sometimes, people do say they're busy. So I'm not saying it's all rosy, sometimes, and sometimes it's hard, on a year, especially with the adjuncts. Sometimes we have, 40 new adjuncts who want mentoring, and we don't know. A lot of them are hired at the last minute. So now, a week before the semester starts, we've got to hustle and find 40 people to mentor them. And sometimes we wind up, someone's mentoring 3 of them. So sometimes it is a challenge. I'm not saying that it's all easy. But, we're trying to figure that out as we go along as well. So as the program evolves, we have a core group of people that we can call on. So we have had challenges sometimes. It's not all, sometimes it is hard, especially, for the adjuncts, even though that's a 1 semester commitment. Sometimes people, it's a semester where they just can't. They're on another committee. Maybe they have personal things going on. Maybe they have professional things going on that they can't commit. But mostly it's been really successful. There are frustrating times, certainly. But I found that it's been really great and it's done wonderful things for the college.
So what would you say to a faculty that say, I want a mentor that really identify with my values, because I'm not going to be comfortable with just any mentor. I need someone that has the same values as I do. What would you say to such a person? Or how do you consider those things when you're matching up the faculty and the mentors? What do you use to match faculty and mentor, considering things such as values?
So that's a really good question. We really don't look at that. We really try and match them based on their discipline. So if you're a department mentor, you might be chosen because you also teach philosophy, or you teach art history, or you teach, chemistry. So we match them based on that. The SELT mentor, we try and match them with someone outside their discipline. We hope that in an educational institution that people are open to new ideas, that they take the mentoring, and I like to say, digest what you digest and sort of, take what you need and leave the rest behind. So we're not asking our mentees to do these things. We're guiding them. We're giving them, feedback. We're a sounding board. We don't push one philosophy over another. We want them to be good teachers, but we also respect their academic integrity, their personal integrity, their academic freedom. So the goal of a mentor is not to be the same as your mentee, but to listen to them. We're very much about hearing what they have to say without pushing a specific agenda. We want this to be a place where they can ask questions, feel safe to ask questions, feel comfortable to ask questions, and not feel that we're going to push some sort of agenda on them. Our center has lots of different ideas, and we are a very diverse institution. We're a Hispanic serving institution. My college, we are 35% Latinx. So because of that, we have a diverse faculty, we have diverse students. And so we're open to many different ideas. Maybe it's the, excuse me, being on the East Coast, but no one has ever asked me that I want someone based on my values, because all of our values are good teaching. So that is a good question, but no one's ever said that to us.
Professor Altman, you have shared some practical strategies with us today, and we are so grateful. Could you leave our viewers with a call to action or an encouragement?
Okay, well, first I want to thank you for inviting me. I am very impressed with what's happening at Murray State. So I'm very impressed with your center. So I'm really honored that you asked me to share our mentoring program. If I was to leave faculty or leave centers or educational developers with one point, it's a little hard to have just one point in this, but I think this is worth a try. The only way you grow your center, the only way you grow your faculty is by expanding your programming. And I think that as faculty developers, it's important to really give faculty a space to grow as educators. So for us, the mentoring program has been that space, as well as the many other programs we have. We're still a small center. We have 160 full-time faculty at our institution, and we have about probably 500 adjuncts. So we run a lot of programs at the start of the semester. We run some summer programming, and every month we run a SOTL workshop, the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, and we run a tech. And certainly now tech is very important. So we are running, and we collaborate with our e-learning center. We're a separate center than them, so we are a very close relationship and collaborate with e-learning. So I think that the mentoring program is just another opportunity to help integrate your new faculty, to help get them excited about your institution, to make them feel welcome to the institution, to make them feel a part of it, to get to know people. And I think the larger the institution, probably the harder it is to know people across the disciplines. For example, in my building, I teach in art. I never leave my building. So if I wasn't involved in CELT, I have made so many friends at the college through my involvement in our center. I might never see them because I never leave the building. So all of my classes are there, my office is there. So this is really a wonderful opportunity to engage your faculty, to have dialogues with your faculty, and really to bring your faculty into your community.
And what would you say to faculty who might be approached to be part of a mentoring program, whether as a mentee or as a mentor?
I would say do it. I just think you have to do it. Try it. I think it's such a great experience. And we can all, one of the things we do the very first day is we say, think back, who are your mentors? You know, and I think back, I was lucky to have mentors. Again, I wish I had some women mentors, and I'm very much about, you know, mentoring other women, because I think in academia we need to do that. But, you know, think back on your own mentors and how they helped you and how you can help someone else. I think all of us could use a mentor, someone to talk to, someone to, as a sounding board, someone to share ideas with, and even to throw out that really crazy idea that you don't know if it's going to work. And to have someone say, yeah, that's really great, or what? You know, so I think it's a really, I think everyone should do it. I think try it. Listen, the worst thing that can happen is not a big success, and you say, okay, I tried the mentoring program, it didn't. But I think that as we have seen in our small center, at our small college, that it has been really beneficial to the mentees, the mentors, the departments, the college as a whole, and we are building leaders through our center. So that's my advice.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Professor Altman, for sharing such practical strategies with us today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. And viewers, I would encourage you to share this conversation with others. It has many practical strategies in it. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of this virtual summit. See you soon.